Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now March 1st of 2023, and today is the day we got the official first episode of Mando Season 3, and I gotta say that John and Dave really knocked it out of the park for a starting episode that was very short, 30-something minutes long. I think it was great from start to finish. There was not a moment, for me at least, where the story was dragging or it was slow. I think it was evenly paced and well established. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing that John and Dave have been continuing to really put out there are a lot of teases and hints about what's to arrive on Disney Plus and being added to the roadmap of the Star Wars franchise. On the other end of the line here, though, we have Kathleen Kennedy causing a lot of problems with The Acolyte and Skeleton Crew, both shows of which are going through a lot of problems still to this very day. And just recently she's been causing a lot more problems behind closed doors when making certain demands to the Disney higher-ups, and how it all actually involves Rosario Dawson, the character of Ahsoka Tano, John and Dave, and a whole lot more on top of that. So let's dive right into the details and exactly what's going on here and exactly what it really means. So we know that Kathleen Kennedy has a grudge against George, John, and Dave because they are creating a contrast, essentially, to what is very well executed and what's poorly executed. The poorly executed stuff being all Kathleen Kennedy driven material, right? So that brings us to the big thing here, the bigger picture about what's going on specifically. So, with Kathleen Kennedy currently developing Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte series, it's described that Kathy is beginning to actually create more drama at Lucasfilm with the upcoming Skeleton Crew series that John and Dave helped put together at one point, temporarily speaking, that Kennedy is now trying to sabotage. Now further, it's described that Kennedy is demanding that Disney higher-ups allow her to replace Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano in the Skeleton Crew series for her upcoming reshoots that are being planned for the series ahead of time. Further, Kennedy is calling for another actress to take over the role, strictly for the Skeleton Crew series only, in an attempt to undo some of John and Dave's work to give fans her own version of Ahsoka Tano. Further, Kennedy over the years has not been impressed with Rosario's portrayal of Ahsoka since John and Dave found a way to balance a strong female character properly, and is demanding Disney board members to allow her to erase Rosario's scenes as Ahsoka from Skeleton Crew in order to replace her with a different actress to give her own version of the character that would fit her own narrative for the plot. Now, let me just stop here for a second. Now, let's just make things very clear. John and Dave are giving us two different versions of Ahsoka Tano in the Ahsoka series, but one of which is going to be played by a younger actress playing a younger version of Ahsoka. But in this scenario, what Kathleen Kennedy wants is to replace the Ahsoka that you all know and love that was done by Rosario Dawson, and to actually replace her with a different actress, almost like it seems like it's out of spite because she has a lot of problems with John and Dave. Now, as you all know, we talked about this 3 months ago. John and Dave were called in by Disney to help out with the Acolyte, fix a couple scenes here and there, tweak some scenes, and kind of fix the plot a little bit, and it's why I say to this very day, both Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte are going to have different themes. You're going to notice themes of John and Dave's work, kind of glimmering here and there, and then you're going to go back to Kathleen Kennedy's tones and themes in these upcoming shows. So basically what Kennedy is trying to do is that she's trying to undo a lot of John and Dave's work for what they did with Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte, starting off with Skeleton Crew, of course. Now, Kennedy has no intention to cancel the character Ahsoka Tano out of the plot, but what she does want is that she wants somebody else to portray the character. And that really makes absolutely no sense to me. I mean, I really don't understand that. You already have the footage shot. Why go through all the trouble to reshoot all those scenes with a different actress is beyond me. Now, given that, of course, yes, John and Dave are making sure that the Ahsoka series is going to be a top-notch, high-budget show that's going to be very cinematic and very movie-like. Kennedy's project, Skeleton Crew, is more or less of an indie film-style TV show. It's going to have that type of budget. It's going to be very small scale, the budget's not too high, it's going to be a very simplistic story, stuff like that. And Ahsoka is going to pop up in there at some point, but it's played by Rosario Dawson, and Kennedy does not like that. So, obviously she has a problem with John and Dave invading her work or kind of interfering with her overall narrative or her structure of the franchise and exactly where that's heading. Moving on. Now, additionally, the Skeleton Crew series was supposed to also feature Din Djarin in the beginning until Pedro Pascal stepped down from that show willingly and wanted no involvement, suggesting, of course, how controversial the show really is going to be for the fans and the entire community. Rosario Dawson is said to be very offended over Kathleen Kennedy for this very reason of wanting to replace her for petty reasons, since she holds connections to John and Dave and it's only causing more problems for Skeleton Crew. Additionally, the show is described to also hold many secrets about the Jedi that Kathleen Kennedy is having John Watts write for the show in order to retell certain events about the Jedi lore and the entire mythology for the franchise. So that's another thing to actually be very well aware of right now, is that it's not just about getting rid of Rosario Dawson, it's also about rewriting some of the Star Wars lore to fit her own narrative as well. And George Lucas is having a lot of problems with this behind the scenes. He's having a lot of issues with Kathleen Kennedy doing such things and really trying to retcon aspects of the Jedi Order and the Jedi Council, stuff like that. Just the history of it all. And I think that when you look at a show like Skeleton Crew, given that it is based after the events of Return of the Jedi, you know, that would suggest that there's going to be a lot of flashbacks in there if they're going to be retelling aspects of the Jedi Order or the Jedi Council, whatever have you. So, like I say, I think that the real issue here of what Kathleen Kennedy has is that she does not want John and Dave's iteration of Ahsoka in her show, because they crafted her, like I said before, to be a successful, powerful female-driven character that actually works, by the way. It just works. It makes a lot of sense. The character's not, doing obnoxious things. Ahsoka is a very well-written, balanced character for live action. And John and Dave really did a fantastic job doing that, and I'm very excited to see exactly how that's going to be done in the Ahsoka Tano series and how that's going to be executed on film, in live action form, of course, and how that's going to be portrayed by Rosario. So like I said, guys, Kathleen Kennedy never stops. She's relentless. She is basically on a path of destruction of the franchise, either intentionally or that she's really just that much out of the loop, who knows. But either case, we have a lot of things happening with that series. Fill me in below, guys, in the comments what you guys have to say about all of this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.